Continuous delivery. Again, this is the fundamental aspect of Agile. So you're not delivering one big bang, you're actually kind of delivering something really quickly, perhaps in a few weeks or a few months, and then you keep going, you keep delivering the next one in the next month or 2 months time, then the next one. So improving iterative development and an incremental delivery. You're actually kind of adding more and more features, making better product every release. So it's about continuous development, continuous integration, and continuous delivery, right? So that's what is important. Highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early. You're actually satisfying the customer early instead of making them wait for 2 years, which was what was the problem with waterfall. You're actually delivering this product in the next 3 weeks. So they get to see the first page. Maybe that's fine. Even if they see the first page, that's okay, which is working. You can click something, it happens. So they're happy to give you the feedback, and then you work on that, add more pages to it. So again, that's what, again, in the context of the e-commerce website, we were talking, the mobile accessory selling website. By November, we decided we'll go live with the catalog, right? So they can get to see, at least play around with how the items are shown, what is the kind of items, click on the item, see the details, add them to the cart. And then come February, they can actually get to see the shopping cart as well. They can actually get to see all the items added to the shopping cart, the shopping basket, and they can actually delete the items from the basket. They can do all these, change the items in the basket. They can do that in February. And by April, they can actually place the order online without having to call you or email you, right? So this is continuously delivering the functionality. You're not stopping at one. You're actually continuously delivering. Instead of in 2 years' time, you're actually engaging the customers, you know, almost on a continuous basis, every few weeks, every week, you know, you're keeping them on the toes. And they're also happy with that because you're talking to them. You're accepting their ideas, their needs. Embrace changes, very important. Again, welcome changing requirements. It's not, Agile is about accepting changes. It's not about fighting the change. It's not about saying, you know, you're changing this too much, so I don't like you. It's not like that. It's about, yeah, accepting that change is the way of life. So we just need to accept change, come what may, whether it's coming from the customers, from the business team, from the development team, from the testing team, doesn't matter. So you're actually accepting the changes, and then you're trying to kind of make the product much better. So that's why when you accept the changes, you're not really working on delivering them towards the end of the year or in 2 years' time. You're actually delivering that in the next release, which is the next month. And after that, again, next month. So you're actually continuously delivering, and you're continuously working on the changes. It's not rigid. It's not a monolith, the product. It's actually kind of shaping up based on the changes and the feedback you get from the customers, from the users, and from the client's team. An agile process harness and embrace changes to lend to customers competitive advantage. Here we're talking about this mobile site. We're trying to build the mobile accessories. If you wait for coming up with this website for a year or 2 years, you never know. By that time, the concept of a mobile phone might be completely different. 2 years time, mobile phone might not be like this. It might be completely different. It might be a chip that is embedded into your body. In which case, all the so-called, you wanted to sell this, you know, accessories, sell this, you know, the case, mobile case, and the screen protectors, and all this, they all go waste if you wait for 2 years. Instead, you're actually kind of helping your customer by doing something now than 2 years' time. Who had seen tomorrow? Nobody has seen tomorrow, right? So try and work for today. Try and make sure that your present is better than your future. And how do you do that? Is by constantly getting the feedback and then time boxing it. Instead of actually taking 2 years to do that, you actually do it in 2 months or 2 weeks time. So that's where the time boxing helps. You don't spend like 2 years to work on something and create it. You actually just focus on, let me just focus on the scope for the first sprint. The sprint 1 is going to be only on developing for example, the homepage. That's the scope. And then you're going to say that I'll spend 3 weeks to develop this homepage and then show it and go live. So the 3 weeks is a time box, and that's what we call as iteration or a sprint in Scrum. So we deliver that continuously. After every 3 weeks, we keep working on it, improve on it, and then you deliver. So that could be between 2 weeks to 2 months, as what they say. You can deliver, you can have that release continuously. So it's shorter time scales are better instead of longer ones. You're not spending 2 months to actually deliver something and then they say, you know what, it's not what I wanted. I think you need to change it. So it needs a lot of rework because you spend so much of development, so much of design, so much of effort on architecture in just that one page. So it takes a long time for you to even go back, rewind, and then make some changes and rework on that. Instead, if it's just the one homepage, just quickly make that homepage live, making sure that you've got something really quick, and then you deliver it. Even if they change, if the customer says, I want this change, it's easy for you to rework because you didn't spend like 2 months, you spent just about a week. So it's easy for you to rework and accept the changes. So it's always very, very critical. Time boxing, very fundamental for agile development. And collaboration between business and development, again, you need to work together, irrespective of whether you're a developer or whether you're a tester or whether you're a product owner. You need to work in tandem with the business and to make sure that you're delivering a business value, because end of the day, technology is just an enabler. It's just a medium for you to deliver something. Previously, I remember we used to have COBOL, we used to have Fortran, Pascal, C, C++, all those, all those technologies. How long do you think they were there? Hardly a few years, maybe 5 years. After that, some other technology came in, right? You've got Java, which was like really popular, core Java, advanced Java. I actually worked on a couple of Java projects myself, on servlets and EJBs and Java beans and all those. How long were they? They were the flavor. They were the flavor of the season, but hardly. And then came the .NET with .NET 1, then 1.2, 2. It evolved again, right? And then you've got Python now. So technologies change. Even on the back end, you've got Oracle, you've got MySQL, SQL, and now we've got NoSQL, meaning you've got like non-relational databases, which are the flavor of the season. That's where MarkLogic and MongoDB, just chuck in everything that will take. It doesn't need to be a specific format, right? So you've got huge set of changes in technologies on the front end, in the middleware, and in the back end. Now you've got open systems, you've got APIs, application programming interfaces, APIs, which are actually kind of exposing the way you actually access a specific application to the whole world. So now you've got this API concept. It was not there before. It was the SOA, service-oriented architecture, closed systems. Closed systems were there before. Then came SOA. Then came the microservices. Then came the APIs. So you're talking about the continuous, evolution of technologies, and you cannot rely on technology alone. You need to actually deliver a business value. If you do not deliver a business value, that's the end of the product. I was talking about the Concorde jet the other day. It was fantastic. It's a great technological marvel, but then it was a failure. It was a flop show because it was not generating enough revenue. There was not much coming out of it. Who would like to actually travel from London to New York in flat 4 hours? Yeah, that's great. Everybody would love to, but then are you able to spend so much? Are you able to spend almost 5 times the ticket that it usually costs for a normal flight? Nobody was ready. And so the model was a flop. So because it was not delivering the business value, it was not commercially viable, even though it was technically superior, feasible, it was not commercially viable. So it was a flop show. It's a flop. And so also with a lot of products, like for example, Google does this amazing product management where they just come out with one product, Google Wave, then Google, there's so many products from Google, which actually after a few years, they actually kind of take it offline or just stop working on the product, right? So the reason why it's not something to do with flop or being failure. It's about having something really quick, make sure it is out in the product, into the people's, they've got this Google Hangouts. There was one more, which was for the like a Google, almost like a Facebook or a social networking site. So I don't remember the name of that. Google Plus, yes, Google Plus. Now it's not there. Google Plus is not there anymore. Why? Because it's not generating enough engagement, not enough revenue coming from it. So you ditch it. So it's all about the balance between technology and business. So you need to be constantly engaged and understanding how much of value you are generating as a product. And then empowering the team, very, very important. Team estimate, team does the delivery, team. I keep repeating this because it's very, very, it is at the heart of Agile. Team should be the one who should estimate. They should be the one who should commit to the estimates. they should be the one who should deliver. They should be the one who owns the whole process of the workflow, right? So team empowerment is very, very fundamental. I think the reason why Agile was successful was because of two things: team empowerment, customer engagement. There's two aspects that made really fantastic contribution to the success of Agile methods. Give them the environment, give them the support they need, and trust them. That's the most important thing, trust. Right now, we're all working from home. We're using these online mechanisms, online tools to be able to do our work, which actually we had to go to the offices and we had to do all these things before. But why? What made the change? Obviously, there's a lot of other factors, other external factors that businesses and companies had to take this decision of letting people work from home. But then they had this trust factor now, right? Because you're productive, you're still productive, you're doing as much work, or if not as much, you could have done even better work, more work as you were doing before. But still, there is that trust factor which is developing slowly but surely in the companies, in the senior management, about their employees, how they're delivering work even when they're working from home. So now it's going to stay. That's what people are saying, that this online learning, online delivery, online interactions, coming together online, having discussions online, and working from home this is going to be the norm. There's a new norm, as I say, and there's a new normal that we all need to understand. And what is at the heart of this? It's the trust. It's the trust that you are able to deliver, and then that's the mutual trust that would help us deliver continuously. Engaging conversations, very important. Again, you're not really a stone. You're actually being told something, and then you ask the question back. How do you think this works? If you want this item to be shown on the page for the e-commerce website, if you want to show this item details, how do you want to show that? Can you just draw me a quick look and feel? Can you, on the back of the paper, I can draw something, and then that would again ignite some conversations amongst the team. If you want to achieve that, it's not possible. We've got the code, we need to tweak it. We've got it in a database. We need to pull that photo here. So what is happening here is the conversations among the team members. You're trying to engage in some meaningful conversations. Before, in the waterfall, it's not like that. You're being told to do something. They sit in the corner, the desk, and they go along with and code something and deliver after some time. What they're doing, nobody knows. What this developer has to work on is actually being told by somebody, by the managers, right? So all of this, because of the fact that he or she was told about what to do, they would do something and then take their own sweet time to deliver something, and then they say, I don't like it. So there's not much of trust there. There was not much of engagement of leadership, real leadership coming in from the team. But with Agile, again, that's the beauty of Agile. It's actually trying to encourage conversations and communications better amongst the team. It's not just face-to-face, even having multiple teams onto the board. We've got JAD sessions, joint application development, where we have the developers, the testers, analysts, architects, all of us in the same room. We go through the backlog, we refine the story. It's called story refinement sessions. So I do all these kind of things to make sure that we all understand the essence of what is to be done. Again, working software, very, very fundamental to Agile. It's not the documents, it's not the loads of documents, it's not the bells and whistles, it's not the amount of time you're spending into the projects. What is coming out of it, the outcome, not even output, it's called outcome. What is the outcome of your effort? What is the outcome of your hard work that you've been doing? If it is all leading to something, that's fine. If it is not doing, then you're not doing it the right way, you're not going the right way. And that's why we need to constantly assess and measure ourselves, where we are going, how we are going, what is the speed, are we going the right direction? And to know that, what is the best way? It's not the document, it's not the tons and writing tons and tons of documents. It's the actual software, it's the actual product, it's the actual website with the homepage perhaps, or with the catalog of the items. That should be gone live after about a month. Then people can get to see that, okay, and then they can give the feedback quicker than reading through all the documents, right? So it's a very, very important measure. The working product is the greatest measure of your success. It's the greatest measure and metric for you to understand whether you're in the right direction, whether you're going with the right speed, whether you've got the right people to actually deliver and execute this product or a project. constant pace. It's about constant, again, it's a sustainable development. That's why when you time box, it's not just first, you don't start with 2 weeks and then increase it to 4 weeks. And then later you say, I need 2 months to have one sprint. No, we don't do that. You actually have a fixed time period, fixed time boxing. Let us have a sprint for, let's say, 3 weeks. In this 3 weeks, we'll go through the requirements, we'll plan, we'll have the sprint planning done before the 3 weeks. We will start the sprint and then we'll work within the sprint. We'll have the testing done, the unit testing done. We'll have the integration testing done. We'll have the acceptance testing done. And after 3 weeks, we will have a potentially shippable product, which is ready for sending off to the customer. So you are actually giving that sense of visibility. And that is 3 weeks all through. So you know that this 3 weeks, I'm going to work on this. And the next 3 weeks, I'm going to work on the next set of features. So there is a sense of better pacing, as what we call better pace, that we can actually have in terms of our own work. We can plan better, we can deliver better, right? So constant pace is very important. Having said that, it's not really etched in stone that you need to have only 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever you decided first, you need to stick to that. Because again, remember, Agile is about adaptation. You need to check, inspect if it is working fine, fair enough. Otherwise, you've always got the luxury of changing that from 3 weeks to, let's say, 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks, depending on how it is going. So again, it's very flexible. Agile is very flexible on that front. Agility through excellence, very important. Quality and excellence could be delivered not just by actually being very adamant and rigid, but it's about agility, about how you accept the change, embrace the change. And then that's why we do a lot of refactoring. We discussed this, again, very important for Agile development, refactoring. So you refactor, you create some, because of the fact that you deliver something quickly, there's a potential, there's a problem that could potentially happen with the code quality. So maybe it's not really well written, it's not so much of documentation is there. So you can take a pause, pause after about a few sprints, and then say, in this sprint, let's try and look at how we can make this code better. So you don't have the spaghetti code everywhere. So that's again a point about how you can improve the code quality, how you can improve the overall quality of the product in a better way. So refactoring, very important. We'll discuss that in the next slide. Minimalism approach, again, it's important. Simplicity, very, very important. The amount of work not done is important. So it's the beauty of this. It's actually trying to focus on the work that is not done and maximize that, so that you're actually trying to minimize the work that is done at that point of time. So you've got only the visibility to the next sprint. Don't worry about the next year, 2021, 2022. Don't worry about all the complexities. Just focus on the next immediate delivery and then deliver it. That's important. Self-organizing teams, when you empower the teams, obviously, as we discussed, they are the best people to actually kind of organize, they manage themselves. There is no manager in an Agile team. Remember that. The Scrum Master, so-called, is a facilitator. They're not a project manager in the traditional way that you have. Because the team always comes up with their own solution, they come up with their ideas, they plan, they deliver, they estimate, they own everything. And introspection, again, looking back at how you're delivering, looking back at how the product is shaped, you're trying to actually kind of improve. And this looking back is not after 2 years, right? Unlike the waterfall, you're actually looking at this every sprint. At the end of 3 weeks, you're looking at this and then say, hey, how did it go? How did we deliver? What were the kind of processes that we followed? Do they need any kind of improvement? Can we do it any better? Can we have this tool to automate? Can we have one person to actually manage the code library, so they can actually have a check in terms of how people are checking out and checking in the code? Yeah, so let's appoint a configuration library and a configuration CI as a role. One of the developers could have that role. So all these ideas, you're coming out with these ideas based on how it has been working the last sprint. So it actually gets added. So you actually write them down and say that, well, let's do it this way. And then you follow it, and then look back at it, whether how it is working, and then change it in the next sprint if required. There's nothing that is a hard and fast rule in sprint in Agile. So again, look back at that change, and then after 3 weeks, again, make change if that is not working. So it's all about that sense of transparency inspection and adaptation. Very, very vital for these.